Hello, hello, hello.
Ah,
Oh, we can't see anyone, but we know you're there. That's really lovely. Thanks for coming. We're just going to give a couple of minutes for people to arrive, and we're expecting a few more, and then we'll start. Do you want to introduce yourself, Kate?
sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate, Kate McStraw. I'm the executive producer and co-founder of Viv Gordon Company, and I'll be co-facilitating the training as well.
Oh, thanks, Kate. And I'm Viv. I'm Viv Gordon, and I'm the artistic director of Viv Gordon Company. We co-founded it together, didn't we, 5 years ago? Nearly
Yeah,
5 years ago in December.
yeah, exactly. Nice. Great. Um,
Lovely.
I'll go into some housekeeping just to get us
Yeah.
started. So, as you'll have noticed as you've come in, everyone's been renamed to Guest of Viv Gordon, and that's to so that you can remain anonymous in this space. And that's for two reasons. That's one, because you might not want to come into a space uh, identifying as a child sex abuse survivor and have your name there because it can be really hard to change your name quickly on things like Zoom. Also, this is being recorded, and so even if you were happy being visible in this space, you might not want that to then go on our website. So we're just really conscious of those intricacies for our community, and I think that's the reason why. Nothing else to add there. No,
Well, it's
I
also an
got
equal
myself.
opportunities thing, isn't it?
Thank you.
So that you can ask any questions here and then not feel like, oh, why did I ask that question? Maybe it was silly or something, and then think that could affect your application. So it is about equal opportunities as well.
Thank you. I knew there was something, I just couldn't see it on my list as I was looking down. As you can tell, we're quite an informal environment. As a company, Viv and I do a lot of out loud thinking. That's part of our practice, it's part of who we are as people. So you'll see lots of that throughout this webinar, no doubt.
So this is our UpFront Survivors Creative Leaders Training Information webinar. And the Creative Leaders Training is a program for child sexual abuse survivors aged 18 plus who would like to lead creative workshops and are based within approximately 1 hour's travelling distance of Bristol. Our core belief as a company is that surviving child sexual abuse, or CSA, is an inherently creative act. And so our work is all about celebrating the creativity within our community and the resourcefulness within our community. And we harness that creativity to social change. So we use creativity to campaign, to increase visibility, voice, community, and leadership by, for, and with adult survivors of child sexual abuse. And this program, this training program, is run in partnership with SARSAS, which is Somerset and Avon Rape and Sexual Abuse Support. They're our local rape crisis centre here in Bristol, and they work across Bristol and Somerset. And it's funded by the Home Office, which I still find quite surprising, by a fund called the Victim and Survivors of Child Sexual Abuse Fund. So the training, the UpFront Survivors Creative Leaders Training, is 10 sessions that run in person to help you develop the skills you need to run your own creative workshops. And the focus is particularly on holding safer creative spaces for the CSA survivor community. And so often we have people who have delivered workshops before in other settings, going through the program, but who particularly want to learn about running workshops aimed at the CSA survivor community. And we also equally have people who have been through the program who had never run a workshop before. So it's a full breadth of people. And all trainees will be supported to co-facilitate a workshop for CSA survivors at the end of the course with Viv Gordon Company support. So the areas covered in the training include understanding the CSA survivor community. Oh, I've just got a waiting room notification. Now I can see the slides again. So understanding the CSA survivor community, thinking about our needs and and lots of different sort of stats and facts around CSA. We particularly focus on mental health access and inclusion, which is the approach that we take as a company to working with the survivor community, working within a strengths-based and non-pathologizing model. If you don't understand what those words mean, that's fine. That's what we'll teach you on the course. If you do, you'll be like, yay, they do that, because once you know about it, most people love it. We'll be thinking about CSA survivor leadership. So that's thinking about ourselves as survivor leaders and our personal access needs while we do that. We'll be thinking about safe and good practice in CSA survivor context. So that's things like looking at things like risk assessments and marketing and how those things, again, people sometimes have done that in other contexts. We're thinking about then how we tweak those things to be more inclusive for CSA survivor communities. Equally, again, if you've never done that before, that's okay, because we go through it from the building blocks. You'll have support to plan, develop and deliver and evaluate a workshop. You'll practice delivering creative activities in the training sessions to your peers so that you get a practice run and some feedback. This seems like the same thing. We've got a delivering your own workshop with our support. Oh no, that's delivering it. Sorry, Kate. Just read that funny. So okay. Support to plan and develop and evaluate it, and support to deliver it. So that's supported by the company in a space that we're holding, and thinking about next steps for you as a creative leader.
Amazing. We've got a question in the chat which relates directly to this that might be worth saying now, which is, how would we be paired with a co-facilitator?
Well, really good question. So we what we mean by co-facilitating is that you would be leading your workshop, but you would be doing that with support from someone else in the group, as well as support from Viv Gordon Company and wellbeing support for participants. And so it's not that you have to like come up with a workshop with someone and design it together. You design your workshop, but you pair up with someone from the group. The way that we've done that has always been led by the group. So some groups have wanted sort of support to form those pairings. Other groups have wanted to ask people. And we found that it is quite a sensitive thing, because obviously people have different needs and concerns about it. And so we've just done it in a very gentle, consensual way, which is how we try and do everything that we talk about. We talk it through and find the way that's going to work for that particular group. Does that answer your question? Great. Thanks. It's a really good question, actually, because it is something people have felt anxious about in the past. So we'll add it into our frequently asked questions.
Great. Thanks, Viv. Thanks for who asked the question. So it's over to me. What to expect at the training sessions? So they'll be led by the two of us, Viv Gordon and myself, Kate McStraw. We do sometimes have guest speakers or guest artists to deliver certain activities, and that's partly so that you can see different examples of leadership, and that you don't think that we're saying you have to do it like how I do it or how Viv does it, but that you see some other examples as well. And we often get guest speakers from previous training cohorts now, which is very beautiful full circle moments for us. The training sessions will be creative, practical, will include creative, practical and reflective activities. As Viv mentioned before, you'll be supported to deliver your own creative workshops, so that is part of the training sessions. We provide wellbeing support, which for this training cohort will be from our long-term collaborator Kate Elgood, who has supported previous training cohorts as well. All of our spaces are as friendly and informal and supportive as they can be. And we aim to create a safe and respectful environment, or we actually prefer the word safer, because we can't guarantee anyone's, how someone feels safe in a space is down to them. But lots of what we do is around having feedback within the group to ensure that it feels as safe and respectful as possible. and access needs will be met. I'll talk a little bit more about that in some slides coming forwards as well, what that means and how we go about supporting people. So what will you get out of it? So there will be the opportunity to develop communication, leadership skills, and workshop planning skills, to build confidence, to be part of a growing CSA survivor community, to develop your understanding of safer and accessible arts practice for and by CSA survivors, to run your own creative workshop as part of the course. And we also provide a travel expenses contribution of up to £30 a week and an attendance bursary of £500. So what have previous trainees done or gone on to doing? So in our previous cohorts, we've had trainees with loads of different creative interests and talent. This is just a snapshot of some of them. So that's included writing, upcycling, cyanotypes, which is a form of photography. I think that's the right word. It's the start of photography, very beautiful. Drawing, creating Lego superheroes, dance, theatre, animation, singing, vocal improvisation, photography, zine making, collaging, folk arts, and lots more. One of the things that people often ask us is, do they have the right creative skill to bring to the training course? And the answer is absolutely yes. If you have some form of creative passion or hobby or skill, we want to hear about it, and we will support you in how to, the whole point of the course is to support you in how to share that skill and that passion with other people. So what are previous trainees doing now? Again, a real range of things that people are moving forward, having done the training. So that includes things like volunteering or working in community arts and or peer support contexts, studying, which can include things like further and higher education, developing their self-employed creative careers, like as a freelance artist or workshop facilitator, gaining employment with other organisations, developing their campaigning and advocacy work, developing the skills that they've learnt with us in other jobs and roles, setting up their own creative businesses, and loads of others, but that's just a snapshot again.
We've got a
I've
question
just seen
in the
a
chat.
question. Yeah, great. So a question in the chat is, does the skill have to be an indoor one? No, absolutely not. We have had people do outdoor options in the past as well, like walking and creative journaling in city and or landscapes. So again, if you have any creative passion, skill, hobby, we want to hear about it, and part of the training program is working out how to put that into a workshop setting for our community and in a safe way. So that's all part of the training. Great. Oh, is it over to me yet? No, is it
It's
still
still
me?
you.
Thank you. So this is a quote from a former trainee called Susanna, who says, "Thanks to Viv Gordon Company, I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm part of something extraordinary. I'm part of something. I'm part of something that is changing the way I get to be a survivor, and sharing experience creates a ripple effect that really helps others."
This is me. So, who will lead the session? So I will lead some of the sessions and Kate will lead some of the other sessions. We'll both be there the whole time, and I'll lead things particularly to do with mental health access and inclusion and creative planning creative activities and that sort of thing. And Kate tends to lead lots of practical things to do with budgets and risk assessments and marketing and things like that. We sort of split it up like that, don't we?
Yeah.
And so we'll be there, and then Kate Elgood will be there at every session as wellbeing support for anyone who needs that. Just noticing that person's name. Karen, sorry, someone's in the waiting room with their name. Great. So Kate Elgood will be there to provide wellbeing support. And then other members of Viv Gordon Company, as well as some guest CSA survivor artists and speakers, will drop in to lead specific sessions. When and where will it take place? So the training will take place on Wednesdays in central Bristol over 10 sessions between November 2025 and February 2026. And sessions will run between 10:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. So the dates are as follows. This is all in the information pack, just so you don't have to scribble anything down. The 5th, 12th, 19th and 24th of November, the 3rd, 10th, 17th of December, the 14th and 21st of January, and the 11th of February. For some reason, I'm getting tongue-tied with the dates. And so we have quite a break over Christmas, which is good for, just to sort of have time to digest everything. And then the break at the end of January, so between the 21st of January and the 11th of February is when we do the workshops. So that's why there's a break then. And we come back together after all the workshops on the 11th of February to evaluate and celebrate what we've done. It's essential that you're able to commit to the whole course, and the venue is only shared with you if you're offered an interview place. So the interviews will happen in the venue where the course will take place. And the reason we do that is around safeguarding our community. So we don't share where we're going to be in the info pack, so that everyone can keep that private if they want to. And the reason that we do it at the interview stage is because part of that is about you seeing what it's like getting there, and whether you like the space and feel comfortable there, and whether the journey's manageable for you and things like that. So that's why we do it like that. So people asking is this right for me? We're looking for 8 people, so there are only 8 places. Who have a creative skill they want to share with others. You must be a CSA survivor aged 18 plus, based within travelling distance of central Bristol for the duration of the course. And the course is designed to help you build confidence and feel part of a creative community of CSA survivors. You do not have to have any experience of leading groups or any qualifications to take part. But equally, if you do have lots of experience or qualifications, that doesn't go against you. We're really open. Most of the courses we've done, we've had a range of people.
Back to me.
And this is you.
Great. So I'll talk a bit about financial and access support. So the training is free to attend. There's no cost on the course, and there aren't any hidden costs either. So all the costs are covered, and we will provide a travel contribution towards your things like travel and parking. We'll also support access costs in addition to that, which might include things like childcare and other care costs. Therapeutic support so that you can process and attend the course. Other access support such as BSL interpretation, providing materials in different formats, or whatever other support is agreed that you need to be able to attend the course. A training bursary of £500 is I was going to say given, I think that's the right word, is given to all attendees. We do that in 2 instalments, at the beginning of the course and at the end of the course. We also provide all materials and light refreshments, so tea, coffee, fruit, biscuits, always lots of biscuits in our training rooms. We do ask people to bring a packed lunch to each session.
Can I just say, in the past, we've had people who haven't been able to receive the training bursary because of because it could interfere with certain benefits and things, and so that's something that we found ways of sort of overcoming previously. So if you're offered a place on the course, then at that point, then we'd have a conversation with you about your access needs and about anything like that, any concerns about receiving a bursary or travel expenses or anything like that. So just to say that we're used to that.
Thanks, Viv.
We've got a question.
Yeah, great. We've got a question about not having children, but I do have a very dear dog, and I live on my own. Would financial help be provided for dog care instead of childcare? Or perhaps I could bring my dog with me. I think we would need to chat about that with you directly, what your circumstances are. So if you want to have a chat with us, the best thing to do is to email us at via hello@vivgordon.com. And that email is on our website and in the info pack as well, because that feels like a really specific thing to your circumstances. So I'd need to chat to you more about that. We wouldn't be able to have dogs in the room unless it was a registered service animal, and that's because of the needs of other people in the room. So we're always trying to manage, some people are scared of dogs. I have really bad allergies, for example. So we would need to we would be able to have registered service animals in the space, from an access point of view, but not from a dog care point of view. But yeah, drop us an email and we can talk to you about that directly.
Thank you.
Thanks. So financial and access support continued. So travel expenses will be paid up to £30 per person per week. So if your travel costs were £5, you would get £5. If your travel costs were £30, you would get the full £30. If your travel costs were £45, we still have a limit of £30 per person per session. That's what our budget is able to afford. And that money can be a contribution towards mileage, and parking costs, or it could be a reimbursement of public transport costs, so like your train fare or your bus fare. Access costs are in addition to that. So in addition to standard travel for you to get there, which might be travel for a PA, personal assistant, to support you to get there, or to be alongside you in the space if you had a PA with you in person, or having a taxi for access reasons. Those costs would be in addition to the standard £30 travel costs. We also know that people face barriers to engaging in training, and so we work hard to make sure our opportunities are as accessible as possible. So if you would like to discuss your specific access needs with us prior to applying, then you're really welcome to do so. And the email Karen has just put in the chat for us, actually, which is hello@vivgordon.com. I didn't write down when you're going back to the slides.
I can go now if you like.
No, it's
It was
fine.
going to be the next one.
Great, I'll do this one. Thank you. So another quote from a former trainee, saying that this is the most accepting, genuinely safe space that I've ever been in. I tick and dissociate, and so I normally only manage small amounts of times in groups. I worry that I am too much. The group held everyone in such a way that I am so much happier just being me.
Great. So over to me. So a note about visibility. So visibility is quite a big issue for the child sexual abuse survivor community because it's not safe or preferred for everyone to be visible, and that's why we're talking about it. So the course is only open to child sexual abuse survivors So by taking part, you are automatically identifying as a child sexual abuse survivor to other group members and to the Viv Gordon Company team and any guest speakers. So you'd also need to feel comfortable being identified as a CSA survivor by the participants of the workshop that you lead. So anyone who comes along will know that you're doing it as part of this course. They might not have taken everything in, but that, you know, it's possible that they understand that you're a CSA survivor leading the workshop. In all other spaces, we can help you manage your preferred level of visibility or anonymity as is needed. So, for example, we've had trainees doing the training where when they've advertised their workshop, they've used a different name, like a nickname, or just they've done it anonymously. Some people really want to be visible, and so when they advertise their workshop, they will have a picture of their face or themselves doing the activity, whereas other people share some of their artwork, or sometimes we've just shared the UpFront Survivors logo if everything feels too exposing. And so there's lots and lots of variation within marketing and within our spaces around how visible you want to be. And the aim, we will always want to be clear that the aim is not for everyone to be publicly visible. A lot of our work is about trying to build a visible survivor community, but that isn't contingent on everyone being individually visible, because it's much more important that everyone has choice and feels safe and comfortable. So that's what we emphasize. So there's not sort of any pressure or sort of extra validation from us if you choose to be visible. What we want is for you to make good choices for yourself. So to apply, you fill out the application form on the opportunities page of our website, and I think Karen's about to share the link for that in the chat as well. So you can fill it in, or you can record a video or audio file if that's more accessible for you or preferred for you, of no more than 5 minutes long, and email it to hello@vivgordon.com. All the questions are in the info pack on our website if you want to see them first. If you wish to discuss any additional needs for making an application or have any questions, you can email us on hello@vivgordon.com, and we can arrange a phone call or a Zoom call to chat it through with you or answer any questions on an email. The deadline for applications is 10 a.m. on Monday, the 29th of September, 2025. After you apply, we will let you know if you've been shortlisted by 5 p.m. on the 3rd of October 2025. If for any reason we're delayed, like for example, we're both off with flu or something, we will always email you by that time, or preferably before that time, to let you know if there's a delay. So it's horrible, isn't it, when you apply for something and then you don't hear, and then you assume that means you haven't got it. We let people know either way. And we're pretty good at we pride ourselves on trying to communicate well.
Best we can.
When we can. So all shortlisted applicants will be invited to join an in-person group interview on Wednesday, the 15th of October, between 10:30 and 4 p.m. at the central Bristol venue where the course will be held. And so you'll be invited to come for the whole day. It's not an interview slot in that time. It's a whole day interview. And that's about you being able to feel out if this is the right thing for you, if it's manageable, to be in space for that time. And it will be a group workshop style interview. So we'll be having like a check-in and doing some creative activities and talking about the course, going through the course content and stuff like that, and having time for questions. And that will be led by me and Kate, and will be a chance for everyone to get to know each other as a group. And I've already said you'll be able to ask questions. And then we will send final offers to applicants via email, phone, or text, depending on what your preferred contact method is, which you have a chance to specify on your application form. And we'll do that by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 22nd of October.
We've got a question here, Viv. Um,
Great.
do you have a preference for video, audio, or written applications? And what has been the proportion of different types of applications in the past?
So we don't have a preference at all. The offer to do it in different formats is about accessibility for people. So some people do find writing or find forms intimidating or they don't express themselves best in writing, and so doing an audio or video application is absolutely your choice, and we don't have a preference. I think actually most people do apply on the form, but we have had video
Yes,
applications. Yeah.
yeah, we have had a few video and audio applications in the past, but that's, as Viv says, it's purely down to that person's preference. It doesn't impact at all how we assess the application. We're just delighted to hear from everyone. Frequently asked questions.
Oh, I'm doing the first two of these, aren't
Right.
I? So, what is Viv Gordon Company's definition of a CSA survivor? So, our definition of a child sexual abuse survivor is someone who has had an unwanted sexual experience, including contact and non contact abuse, before the age of 16. And so we recognise there are different definitions and welcome your own definition as completely valid. And so definitions often vary to do with things like your cultural background. So perhaps if you grew up in another country or in a different culture, there might be different definitions around the age of consent, or in a homosexual relationship, there have been different definitions of the age of consent and what it means to be a consenting adult. So if you consider yourself to have had an unwanted sexual experience as a child or young person, then you're welcome to, if you define as a child sexual abuse survivor, then we accept your definition. You will not be asked to justify your reason for applying or share your experience within the application or the training or the delivery stages. So the focus is very much on creativity and leadership. People do share around their personal experiences of abuse and violence, but there's no point within the training or the application or the interview or anything where you have to share anything about that. That's not what this is about. So that's always a personal choice. And then we get this question quite a lot, which is, I live more than 1 hour's travel away, but I'm willing to do the journey. Can I still apply? And so we appreciate that opportunities like this are rare, and especially for our community as CSA survivors. And we suggest the 1 hour travel distance as a guide because the training days are long and we cover a lot of information. And so it can be quite tiring doing the training, mentally and emotionally. And it's still unusual for CSA survivors to be in shared spaces together. And just that is, has a big impact on trainees. Always, hasn't it, Kate? That's always been a really impactful part of the training, is just to be in a shared space. So we have a responsibility as facilitators to create as safe an experience as possible. And so we believe that 1 hour travel is a sensible maximum travel time. We also have a maximum of £30 per training session towards travel expenses. And so if you live more than an hour's travel time away, it's likely that your travel expenses will be higher than that. And we won't be able to cover more than £30. If you want to apply and live outside of the 1 hour travel time, then you are welcome to do so, but we will talk directly with you about the practicalities of your situation before making a decision about whether we can offer you a place. I hope that makes sense.
Right. I'll finish up the last few FAQs that we've and in advance. So lots of people ask us, they say that they can't attend the interview date, but could they meet us at another time? So unfortunately, it's not possible to arrange interviews for an alternative date. And that's because the interview is set up as a full day group interview, and it's held at the venue the training is going to be run at in central Bristol. And so there's no way that we can recreate that experience in an online or in a one-to-one setting. And as Viv mentioned before when she was talking about the interview day, that day is really important for you to come to ensure that you do want to do the course and that you feel comfortable with us as facilitators and coming to the venue and doing the travel. And it's the interview day is as much as you figuring that out for yourself as it is for us to meet the potential cohort. So it really is a genuine two-way interview setting. Some people ask us, they say they can't attend all the course dates, but can they still apply? So we do understand, as freelancers ourselves, that people have lots of other existing commitments, and that might prevent them from attending all of the dates. What we ask is that you're able to commit to a minimum of 8 of the 10 dates, and that has to include the first date of the course. If you're unable to do that, you will just miss loads of the content and it will be harder for you to catch up outside the course. And so we wouldn't recommend that you would apply at this time. And we will prioritise applications from people who can attend the majority of the dates. We also know that sometimes people have unexpected things. So you might, in advance, believe you can do all of the course dates, but then you get on well. That would be a different situation if you were to miss one once you were signed up. But coming into the application, we need to know that you can do at least 8 of the 10 sessions and definitely the first date and the interview. Some people ask if they can join any of the sessions online, and we're not able to provide this as a hybrid learning option. The course is very much experiential learning, which means in this course context that being in the room with other CSA survivors and taking part in the work in the room is a huge part of the learning opportunity. Trainees from our previous cohorts have all commented that the learning, being in the room together, is one of the things that they value most about the course. And that's not something that we can recreate in an online or a hybrid setting.
Got 2 questions in the chat, Kate.
Right.
Oh, 3.
Great, good. Could you ask them, Viv? Because I can't
Oh, yeah.
see.
If the dates just can't work, will there be another course? And if so, when?
We hope so, but we don't know that for certain because all of our work is on a project by project funded basis. So what we know is that this course has been funded. We hope to run it. We plan to run it again in the future, but it will be subject to us having funding in the future.
And so in a similar vein, how often do you run these training sessions? If I apply this round and I'm not invited, would I be able to apply again the next time you offer this training?
Great. So, first of all, leading on from what I answered on the first question, is it will depend on whether we get funding in the future. What we have done for the last 3 years, this will be year 4 in year on year, is that we have run this course once a year in that sort of autumn, winter, November to February, November to March-ish time slot. And we hope to do that again. It may or may not be the same time in the future, and all of it will depend on the funding that we get to run the course. And if we get that funding, sometimes funders have different date requirements. So this one has to be delivered before March as part of this funding requirement, for example. But if you do apply and you don't get invited to interview, if you don't get a place on the final course, then you would absolutely be welcome to apply to future training in the future.
Well done. And then a third question. I didn't apply in the past because I was unable to attend the last date. Is the 11th of February the date we would present our own training session? Your work, I'm assuming you mean by that your workshop.
Shall I? Great.
Yeah, go
Good.
for it.
Speedy typers.
Oh, yeah, they've said yes.
Great. So the 11th of February is the last date of the stuff that we're delivering to the group, and it was like an evaluation and celebration session. The workshop period that we hope that the trainees will deliver their workshops in, because it will also be your choice whether you what you deliver and whether you choose to deliver a workshop at that time. That will happen between so the 29th of January and the 8th of February. We will discuss dates and times once we're on the course with all the individual trainees, and we have a really fun job of building a bit of a spreadsheet of who's available when the space that we're delivering it in is available and things like that. So we'll discuss all of that with the group. There's a week window that's in the information pack. That is when we're aiming to deliver, that each of you would deliver your own workshops. I feel like I made a mouthful of
You've
that
done
one.
well, Kate. I think that is that clear? Perfect, makes sense. There we go.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I feel like
Great.
you're getting a taster of the delivery. Normally we wouldn't deliver by talking for an hour straight. I suppose that's the thing
No,
to
we
say.
wouldn't.
Much more tea and biscuits to fuel what we're talking about.
Yeah, different. Um,
Great.
there's a question for me. Should we, have we finished all the frequently asked questions before we go into more general questions?
Yeah,
Have we finished all the frequently asked questions,
we have
Kate?
finished all. Yes, we
Oh,
have.
okay. Have we got anything else to on the
We're going
slides?
to read some quotes from previous trainees that would that what we asked previous trainees, what would you say to someone thinking of applying? We could read those. We do also only have 10 minutes though, so we could go
Let's
into questions
prioritize
and come back to these.
questions. All
Great.
the information on all the quotes from previous trainees are on are in the information pack. So if you want to see what other people have said about doing the course, have a look at the information pack. That's what I would say. So
I stopped sharing so our faces are bigger. Right. Everyone loves our big faces. There we go. I can see the chat properly now. I'm not sharing slides. Great. Shall I
great.
ask you the question, Viv?
Okay.
Great. So Viv, you mentioned it's okay for people with different experience levels to apply, but I have a few years of running workshops and it's a big part of my artistic practice already, just not so specifically for CSA survivors. Is there an upper experience limit for these sessions for facilitators?
Absolutely not. You're really welcome to apply, even if we've had people doing the training before who have been delivering, running theatre companies for 30 years and things like that. And running workshops on a regular basis. And so it might be that there are bits of the course that are slightly less interesting to you, where we run over things like the basics of budgeting or session planning. But because a lot of those things are also woven together with thinking about how to do those very specifically with the CSA survivor community, there's usually new information for people, and also people often have been working for a long time within the arts without being able to sort of inhabit their CSA survivor identity. And so often what we've done as CSA survivors is compartmentalize to survive, and have this idea of being professional is about putting that somewhere else. And so there's lots of stuff on the course about sort of how we can bring our whole selves to our work as well. So there's lots of different things to gain if you are a very experienced facilitator.
Definitely. And just to add to that, I'd say we really value that range, like the group dynamic really benefits from that range of experiences, because I think that's part It's part of being in community and having different types of role model is to have that peer space. And I think that's one of the, for me, I think that's one of the most compelling bits of the course for most people. Of course, me showing you how to write a risk assessment is also a really compelling bit of the course, in my opinion.
Shall
Um,
I read the second
great.
question?
Right, yeah, go for it.
For the second application question, tell us more about your experience of leading. Would you like responses focused on sharing situational examples of leading, like facing specific challenges and coming up with creative solutions, or a brief, oh, I've got a thing in the way, a brief overview, I guess that's going to brief list, like sentences of different roles leading. Also, should we include examples of creative events or groups that we organised but which didn't take place due to external barriers? Do you want to
Hmm.
answer that?
Great. I mean, what a great thorough question. I love it. Um, all of the above is relevant. We do not have a preference of how you want to talk about your experiences. We really recognize that for lots of people, writing an application is really inaccessible, for lots of really good reasons. Well, bad reasons, but they're good reasons to us of why they're really inaccessible. And so we're not assessing people based upon how good they are at writing an application. What we want to know is some examples that you're most proud about, most passionate about, that you think are most interesting, so that we can get a flavour of the kinds of work that you have done, the kind of experience that you have. It would really be okay for you to say, I don't have any experience in leading. What I have done is I've volunteered in this group. I have, I did a course recently and I spoke up for the first time, and I was able to take part in an activity in a new way. It's so individual to every person's experience. So we've left the questions quite open purposefully. In the application form, we've also given a couple of examples of the kinds of things to give you a bit of a steer. But if writing a brief list and bullet points is gives you a better way to share your experience or is more accessible for you, it's great. If you're able to and want to talk about specific examples, and that great question again as well at the end. If you've organised something but it didn't take place, that would be okay as well. That's a really normal part of doing live work, is to set something up and for it to not happen because the weather was bad, or because the marketing went wonky and no one showed up, or the venue hire fell through, or whatever it was. But is all of those things are great examples of you having the kinds of experiences that might be useful towards this course.
I think the question, just to sort of summarise, is about us having just an idea of, so I think it's likely, given the question you've asked, that you have some quite significant experience of leadership, and that can come across quite quickly by writing a list of some of the things that you've done. We don't need lots and lots of detail on the form, but if you want to share it, we're really happy to read it as well. But it's for us to sort of go, oh, this person's done lots of leadership but never really worked within the CSA survivor community, or this person has done lots of stuff with CSA survivors but has never led a creative workshop, or it's that sort of thing. It's just for us to get a idea of where people are coming from. I'm really aware of the time, and we've got quite a few questions.
Well, I
So
think we can answer them, but if anyone can't stay beyond 1:30, because no one's currently verbalized their answer, I think all of this can stay in the video. And if towards the end someone does ask a question verbally, then we could make sure that's edited out of the video that
great,
goes online.
very good.
Great.
So shall I answer this one? I
Great.
have
Shall I read it to
multiple.
you?
Oh, great.
Yeah. So the next question is, I have multiple creative workshops to offer. Is it possible to deliver more than one, or is it suggested that I stick to delivering one?
So within the confines of the course, confines is a horrible word. There will only be space to deliver one workshop. But obviously, lots of people who do the course have more than one creative interest that they're pursuing. We have had people combine some of their interests into one workshop. So we've had people, doing writing and collaging, for example, at the same time. But there will only be one supported opportunity to deliver a workshop within the funding that we've got. You don't have to apply knowing what you're going to do. So you don't have to say, when you apply, you don't have to be, I'm a dancer and I will deliver a dance workshop. You can say, these are the range of creative interests and workshops that I can run. And you'll be deciding that further on later towards Christmas about what you'll be doing. Hope that makes sense.
Right.
Kate, what has been the gender diversity of previous cohorts?
Great question. They're all great questions. That just gives
Questions.
me a moment to think to say that phrase. So predominantly we've had a female dominated space on previous cohorts. The course is open to both sexes and all gender identities. So we don't know what this cohort will be, but it has predominantly been female applicants in the previous cohorts, but not exclusively. So we have had men do the course, and trans and non-binary people attend the course as well. So it's open. Um,
To
it's open
everyone.
to everyone. Thank you.
Great. Shall I answer the next question?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down. I'll ask it to you. I'm quite new to stepping into my creative skills and figuring out
Oh, I
what
think
they could.
we've missed one.
Wait, sorry.
We've missed one. Sorry. I'm creative in many ways. It's just up
I'm
from that.
creative. Yeah, great. I'm creative in many ways, but I don't feel I have one specific skill, and I'm anxious about this. Can you support trainees in finding out what they may like to or be good at delivering?
Yes, is the quick answer. So we've had people, like we say, on your application, you don't have to say what you're going to be delivering. You can just let us know about your range of interests and creativity. And absolutely, as we go through the course, we'll be spending time thinking about what specifically we'll be doing. And people choose to do that in different ways. So people who are newer to leading, we give quite a lot of guidance around sort of doing something that feels manageable. There's a 2-hour time slot for the workshop, but in the past we've had people go, actually an hour feels like enough for me to do for the very first time, and stuff like that. And so we negotiate it all. It's all supported through conversation. And then we've had other people who have lots and lots of experience of leading, who want to try something new. So they might always have taught dance, but what they really want to have a go at teaching is walking, like a creative walking project. Or so we've had people try something new who have lots of experience doing one thing, so it's all up for grabs is what I'm saying. And we absolutely offer lots of guidance.
Right. Shall I ask this next question to you as well?
Okay.
I'm quite new to stepping into my creative skills and figuring out what they could be to help survivors. I sing, but I'm currently figuring out how to turn that into something to help others. But this workshop and this kind of work is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I've been wondering how I could step into this space. Would this workshop be suitable for someone who is very inexperienced and still learning to be more creative with what they do, or would it be better to wait until I'm a bit more comfortable with my creative skills?
Great question. So the workshop is suitable for someone who hasn't got experience of leading, absolutely, and who's still learning around their own creativity and still developing that. Like we've said a couple of times, I think we've had people like a wide range on the course, and I think that that really benefits the course to have a range of different people because we all learn from each other. What I will say as well is that often part of the CSA survivor experience is that we haven't really been given the opportunities to explore certain parts of ourselves, like our creativity or our leadership. And so often people think that they haven't done very much. They've actually done quite a lot and things like that. Might or might not be you, but it's we often underplay what we know and what we've done. And so if you're feeling drawn to apply, I would encourage you to apply and to go from there. And we can only be ourselves, can't we? And that's what the course is about. It's about being able to inhabit ourselves and do things that support survivor community. And so we're all enough in that respect, I would say.
Thanks, Viv.
I suppose the other thing to say is that, like, if you felt like you wanted to wait, it's just worth bearing in mind that we don't currently have any guaranteed funding for future courses. So if it does feel like the right thing for you, it might be worth giving it a go and seeing how you feel on the interview day if you were offered an interview.
Good point. Right. Shall I
ask you this one?
Right, go for it.
Would my workshop need to be specifically for CSA survivors, or could I focus it on other communities?
So we have had this always comes up every year for great reason, and it's really possible to am I answering this right? No, we would like all of the workshops to be open to CSA survivors. That is what we do as a company. But all of our workshops are open to CSA survivors and allies. We have had people in the past that are exploring other specific identities alongside that. So they're open to CSA survivors and allies, and they might be looking specifically at supporting, trying to think of examples I've had in the past.
Well, I can use myself as an example. So I have Jewish heritage. And so if I wanted to run a workshop specifically for Jewish CSA survivors, then that is something that we would support. And we've had similar things where people have certain identities where they're bringing to the space where we would support them to deliver a workshop for CSA survivors of that identity, and all in-person workshops are for CSA survivors and allies, and that means that people can come with support. I hope that answers your question. It also sort of answers the next question: who do we deliver the workshop to? So again, they're all the workshops are advertised. We set up Eventbrites for them, and we advertise them on our social media and on our website. And because we don't want people to have to publicly identify as a CSA survivor to come to the workshops, they're all open to CSA survivors and allies. But people have put in lots of different, done something for older people or for younger people, or that, lots of different groups in the past.
I think we've come to the end of the questions.
We've done it.
We've done it. Way. Well done, everyone. Well, if you have other questions that you want to ask after, there's a lot to process in this, and there's still, few weeks until the application deadline. If you come away from this and go, oh, I wish I'd asked that question, you're really, really welcome to get in touch with us via hello@vivgordon.com, and Viv or I will pick that up and answer that question as soon as we can. And questions are always welcome. There's no such thing as a silly question. If you feel you need some more information, then please come to us and we will do our best to give you that information so that you can help, so that you can make the best application, or make the decision whether now's the right time to apply or not. Karen's just putting the link in the chat to the need help page on our website. We're aware that it's very unusual for lots of people to come into a space and to even hear the word child sexual abuse survivor said repeatedly, boldly, and clearly is not part of social norms. So if anything, if you want any support after the session, after this webinar session, do please seek support from things like Survivors Trust or the Rape Crisis 24-hour helpline. And there's all that information on our website, and also at the bottom of the info pack as well. And I think that's everything on my list.
Yes. Lots of
Okay.
lovely thank you messages from
Thanks,
people, which is
everyone.
really nice, and things saying people needed to leave and things like that. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll look forward to receiving your applications.